All right, welcome back. So we're moving on to part two of how to succeed in the flipped classroom. And today we're going to talk about some tools and other things that you need just to run the class. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the outline. So this is an example of a typical outline that you'll see for a unit. So let's go through the different parts. So the first part that you're going to see is the objective letter, or sometimes in my class it's a number, but basically they're just in order. We'd like you to work through the objectives in order. They're set up for that purpose. The next thing you're going to see is just a description of the objective. This is a good thing to look at when you're getting ready to take an assessment. Make sure that you know all the things mentioned in the objective. And this gives you an idea of what you're going to see in the reference material. So reference material, these are suggested places for you to get the information for this section, but keep in mind you can use lots of other sources as well. The next two sections are required and advanced activities, and I'm going to let Mr. Diamond talk about these two.
All right, if we look at the required activities, required is for everything that you have to do unless you decide to do the advanced activity. For the example, this one, you need to do this activity. There's a video attached with this one. Unless you want an advanced grade that shows that you will learn, what the heck? You will learn more and show that you understand it at a deeper level. So you'll do the advanced activity. You won't do both unless it tells you to do both, but you'll just do the one. Okay, so choose one or the other, whether you're going to do the advanced or the required, unless it tells you otherwise.
And then also within some of those activities, you see these links. Some are listed in the objective section, some will be listed in the reference, and you can see some are listed on the activities. To get to these links, these will link you to videos or other content that you need, and so you can just control and click on the link, or you can copy the link and paste it into a web address, and that will take you directly to the link. And then the last section is the completed by date. So as you can see, we've got different dates listed, and down here, some of these say home next to them. These are things that we would like you to do at home. So in my class, generally, note-taking is something that you would do at home since you don't need me to take notes, and then working on labs or other more higher level thinking activities, those would be things that would be done in class. And so anytime you see the home section, that's something that we'd like you to do on your own time.
Yep. And you'll see that on the final assessment here, this is when we are done. That unit is completed. If you haven't completed your unit by the end of that date, that doesn't mean we're going to stop and wait for you. We're moving on. Now you have the current unit and the back unit. So really this ladder gives you a structure as how to keep up and how to stay online and on task. If you do that and commit yourself to staying with the date, you won't have any problems keeping up in class at all.
And so if for some reason you aren't finished by this date, you have a week extra to complete things, but it's going to need to be done on your own time. As Mr. Diamond said, we're going to move on with the next unit. So it's really important to stay on time and follow these deadlines. They're there to help you.
Okay. All right, for this next section, we're going to talk about Cornell Notes. We're going to require you to take notes in a certain fashion in our class. I know in the past you probably can do it in other ways, but that's not going to happen in our classes. In our class, you're going to do Cornell Notes. And there's a special structure that we like that follow the 5 R's.
Okay, so first of all, when you're setting up the notes in your notebook, you need 3 columns. This first column should be about 2.5 inches. Leave this second column as the largest one, and then a smaller column on the end. So now we'll go over each of the three columns. So what you're going to do first is watch the notes and record all the information in this larger section. That's why it's larger. Now keep in mind, because you're usually taking notes from a video, you can pause, fast forward, go back, rewatch as many times as you need to. That's the nice thing about having it in video format. Once you've got the lecture recorded, and this does not mean copying everything down, write down things you think are meaningful, okay, then you're going to move on to reduce. So this recall column is kind of where you're going to summarize things and use it to study. So reducing would be, as soon as possible, summarize the ideas from your notes. Go back through this middle column and highlight main ideas, vocab words, key terms, things like that. Okay, then number 3 is recite. Now cover that column and using only your key terms, try to recall as many facts as you can and recite this to yourself. This is kind of a way of studying. So once you take your notes, you're not just done with them. The idea would be to go back as many times as you need to reference that material. Number 4 is reflect. Okay, this would be, again, going back and reflecting on the material more than once, maybe the next day, maybe when you're working on homework problems, maybe when you're doing a lab. Okay, these notes are your information, and so you need to use them more than once. And the last idea, or last R, is number 5, which is review. So again, like we talked about, going back and reviewing over the main ideas. This last column that we haven't talked about yet is for questions. As you're going through the lecture, because we're not there with you, you may have questions or not understand something that we're talking about. So instead of asking a question in class, you would write your question here. Now, sometimes it'll be answered as you keep watching the video, but if not, then when we discuss your notes together when you come to class, that's when you would ask those questions.
It's if you don't like the idea of watching videos and not having the teacher right there to interrupt and ask the questions, that's fine. This is where you still make up that piece. So even though flipping is different in that sense, you still get the opportunity to ask your questions and have things clarified. But you have to write them down because I forget what I need to ask too. So write that stuff down right here.
Right.
All right, guys. So let's talk about where you're going to find all these resources and how to get some of the tools that we're going to use. First thing I want you to do is I want you to go to Edmodo.com. Some of you may be familiar with it. If you're not, you just go ahead and you can see right up here, type in Edmodo.com. You guys are Google geniuses. Come it up and pull it up. So the first page that you're going to see is this one here. What I want you to do is I want you to click on I'm a student. Maybe not. There it is. And then what's going to happen is you're going to fill out, you're going to need a group code. I'll have the group codes usually on the board. Mr. Chowski has them. We'll give you the code for your class. You'll put your code in, your name, a password, and an email. I recommend that you use the email and password that the school gave you. That way you don't have to remember more than one. It works best. And then, of course, put your name in there. Don't be exotic with your name because you'll forget what you put.
You just want your name.
Yeah. You just have to reset. Just don't make this complicated. Just sign in, okay? Once you've got that taken care of and you're signed in, it'll bring it right up to you.
And if you already have an account, like if you've done this for a different class already, then you're going to sign in like you normally would. So if you want to cancel and go back, and then you would sign in here and then just add the group code once you get into your page. So
okay, I can kind of show you what I'll sign in. Don't look at my password. Oh, you can't see it anyway.
You're so funny, Mr.
That was funny.
Yeah. I'll laugh since
nobody else will. All right, as it comes up. All right, so if you have your account looks something similar to this, you'll see I have some of my classes here. To join a group, all you have to do is click on and join. And then you're going to put your group code in, join, put you right into our class. Too easy, okay?
So don't create a new username if you already have one. All your classes can go together.
That's right.
Very important.
Very easy. Now, from here, you're going to see how I have my units hooked up right here and the unit outline. I'm just going to pull it up, but all you have to do is click here or here, and it'll pull it straight up for you. Then the units that come up, you'll see have these links. When you want to see these links, what I like to do is I'll just click, copy the hyperlink, and then I can go back and open this link here. Put it into the browser bar, paste it, and click enter. And from here, you're going to see the link come up in the video that you can see it. So it's so easy from there. You don't have to have an account, anything like that. It just signs into it. There's the video, and it pulls up. And the nice part of this is you can just click on this. All right, guys, so next we're going to talk about the life cycle of and that's, of course, a different video for another class probably. But from here, you can see there's a pause button, so you can write your notes and do your Cornell Notes here and catch everything with that.
Okay. Another place that you can find resources, depending on the class, and this is why we're going over several different ones, is through YouTube. So currently, all of my videos are on YouTube. They may go to Flipasaurus like Mr. Diamond's, but for now, Rebel Chemistry is the name of the channel. Once you get there, the easiest way to find your particular video is to click on Playlists. This comes up with all the chapter set of videos for each class. So let's say you're in CP Physics and we're in chapter 15. So you would find CP Physics chapter 15, and then it's got all of the videos listed in order, and then you could just click on the one that you're looking for. And then within each of those, it's also got the description and the objectives and things like that. Okay, so Flipasaurus and YouTube are your main areas. And again, all of this information is on Edmodo and linked through the outline. So it's very easy to find what you're looking for. But also keep in mind that you can reference your book. You can use other websites on Google or other internet browsers. You can use Khan Academy. So if our video isn't really working for you or you need more information, you are capable of getting that information from several sources. So be sure that you take control of your own education here and use these resources and other resources to help you out.
And we've both had students in the past that didn't really understand what we were teaching in class and were struggling. So they went out and found other videos and other ways of teaching it. Sometimes, guys, somebody else just has a different point of view that makes it click for you. We won't be hurt by that. That is you doing what you have to do, and that's very important.
And in fact, if you find a better resource, please share it with us because we would love to use it also.
Sometimes I put things in there.
All right, so let's check our checks for understanding.
Okay, and at the end of every video, we have a checks for understanding. And that's how we know that you've watched the video as well as we've seen your notes taken from here. So this isn't just taking notes, it's learning it. And the first checks for understanding on this one, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the next video. We want you to take Cornell Notes here. Once you've taken Cornell Notes on the next video, I want you to go back to the first video and this video and compare and contrast the difference in your note-taking methods and the Cornell Notes. If you've taken Cornell Notes, I want you to compare them to the Cornell Notes that you used and the manner we've showed you to do.
Okay, then the second thing, and we've already talked about this, is to make sure that you set up your Edmodo account using the code for this class, which we will give you. And again, keep in mind, if you already have an account, use that one and just add this class in. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day.